centre in Florida.
In an elevator in a shopping centre in Florida.
Welcome back to Weekend Sunrise. Few of us can deny that there is an enormous amount of personal satisfaction in bargaining someone down on something you want. And real estate is the greatest example of all.
Around the country, homes are being sold well under the advertised listing price. You just need to know where to look. For more on this, Andrew Wilson from the Domain Group joins us live from Melbourne. Good morning to you, Andrew, and thanks for joining us.
No problem.
Tell us, when it comes to property, is there always room to move on the asking price?
Well, I think there's always that expectation of some wriggle room in those private sales asking prices. I think the only way really is down if you're a seller and you put forward a price in a private sale environment. So I think there's always that expectation that there's some room for compromise. I think buyers understand that as well.
So you say that you are always likely to lose out if you put a price on it in a private sale situation. You'll always be bargained down from that price.
Well, look, that's the difference between an auction sale and a private sale. An auction sale, you don't reveal your price. You set it as a minimum between you and the agent. Yeah. But in a private sale, you set your price at what you'd expect to be the maximum, what you'd be happy to get, and then maybe some expectation that you could negotiate down and be happy with the result.
Righto.
So in terms of negotiating down, is it pretty similar across the board? Some suburbs offer bigger discounts than others?
Well, look, no, it does depend on market forces, of course, and that's why we see some of those capital city markets with much lower discount rates compared to some ones that have higher discount rates where the market forces are weaker.
Okay,
so we're looking at the Sydney ones here, Andrew, and we can see, Wiley Park, discount of 25.4%. Talk us through what that means.
Well, look, I think the other point is that it can also be over expectations from sellers in strong markets, and I think that's an example there in Sydney, where we have that strong Middle West suburban group, which has had strong prices growth over the last few years, and maybe sellers have pushed themselves a little bit ahead of the market and need to discount at higher levels to be able to find a buyer.
Let's have a look at Melbourne here. Mickleham, 26.6%. Is it similar sort of situation there?
Well, look, Mickleham's an outer suburb in Melbourne. I think that lower sales numbers have perhaps elevated that discount rate. But similar to Sydney, if we look at Vermont South and Camberwell, Glen Waverley and Mount Waverley being very strong areas for growth. And I think sellers there might just have moved a bit ahead of the market and have had to discount to find a buyer.
Righto, so we're looking at Brisbane now. Can you just explain for our viewers who are, just seeing these graphs for the first time, when we say, for example, Stockley, 13.3% discount, 13.3% discount on what, the median price of that area, or what?
Well, that's the asking price, Andrew. So it's the difference between the asking price and the selling price.
That's what you can expect to get. The discount would be 13.3.
That's right. That's the difference between the asking price and the actual selling price in the suburb. And similar to those other capitals in Brisbane, there's a mix of inner and outer suburbs. In Adelaide, the outer suburbs around Elizabeth are offering the biggest discounts. That's a quieter part of the market. But again, individual circumstances can determine what the levels of discounts are in those suburbs.
And let's take a look at Perth, just lastly.
Again, a mix, but we're seeing Claremont and West Perth, some inner suburbs they're offering the biggest discounts. Of course, that Perth market has been quite slow over the last couple of years, so good buying opportunities generally in Perth, I think, at the moment.
Just as a final note, what's the best way to bargain down a house price? I think research is always pretty key.
Look, I think everybody's got to be prepared to compromise, and sometimes for the sake of $5,000, you miss out on your dream property, and in 10 years' time it can really be meaningless. But know the market, and maybe think about using a professional such as a buyer's agent.
Righto, Andrew. Thank you very much for that.
My pleasure, guys.
Oh, I hope everyone's making notes. I mean, I have no idea whether I want to live in Urbray in South Australia or not, but that's a great discount. I'll look into that.
At Hungry Jack's, just $2.95 gets you your